Thank you for tuning in to our podcast, Módulo Músicos Unidos. Once again, my name is Max, founder of MMP Global Music. You can feel free to visit our webpage at mmpglobalmusic.com. We do provide independent label services for artists, songwriters, composers, producers, engineers. Once again, feel free to visit our webpage for more information, mmpglobalmusic.com. We will also provide a link to our affiliated partner, Soundtrack Your Brand, which provides background music services for all businesses. A very large percentage of businesses do not pay the proper license to utilize music. Okay, so it is very important that all artists, producers, songwriters get paid for their work. For more information about Soundtrack Your Brand, we'll provide the link. Very well. On this episode, we'll talk about a battle. Okay, this is Kanye West at Crossroads to win his freedom from EMI publishing contract. So we'll get into a little bit as far as what has happened before and what he's going through at this point in time. The question is, what does the future hold for Kanye West? The iconic and controversial hip-hop artist is now attempting to secure his freedom in the face of EMI's efforts. Okay, in the words of his court documents filed just this past Thursday, that could tie him into an exclusive publishing agreement that can last for years, if not his entire life. So that's not so good. So the next few months could be a turning point, holding the possibility on one hand that West scores a renegotiated deal, while on the other, the prospect that he could be forced into some sort of career limbo. And that's not good for him. Kanye West has all the money in the world. But again, he's trying to control his own rights. And as crazy as it sounds, he's tied into a contract with EMI Music Publishing, his entire catalog, in a sense. This information almost no one talks about, but whenever an artist signs a publishing deal, they usually control the masters and also control all the songwriting, and that's the publishing, representation, or administration. And usually that goes in hand with the copyright. So that's almost standard. That is 30 years, okay, unless there's a different clause in the contract, which that's kind of the gray area that we don't know. And it depends, or I should say, it varies depending on the artist and who signs the deal. When I say they, it's referring to the labels in general. Okay, that is all the major labels: Sony Music, Universal Music Group. You have Warner Chappell, and you also have, there's a lot of Atlantic Records, Interscope, and so on and so forth. So to give a little bit of background exactly what took place, Kanye West filed a lawsuit back in January against EMI Music Publishing in California with the contention that he's been laboring for the publisher since 2003, when he signed a lopsided contract during the recording of College Dropout. To escape a contract that explicitly forbids him from retiring as a songwriter, recording artist, or a producer, West argues that he repeatedly re-upped contract is illegal under the California Labor Code, Section 2855, which limits personal service contracts to no more than 7 years. This is exactly the reason why Kanye West filed the lawsuit, specifically in the state of California. All right, so as that unfolds, also, EMI has filed its own lawsuit against Kanye West, hoping to adjudicate the dispute in New York. The publisher alleges that Kanye West has breached his deal, okay, specifically the clause in the contract that provides New York with the exclusive jurisdiction to handle this type of controversy. It is very hard to win a case against the labels because they do have the law in their favor, but it's not impossible. Okay, so only going back to that contract, specifically to that clause where it states that Kanye West has exclusive rights in the New York jurisdiction only, then we would have to, see exactly what the outcome would be in courts. Now, before this gets to a judge, of course, there's always negotiating going on. So both sides have not come into an agreement. Okay, there's always been settlement talks. In June, both parties' attorneys reported to the judge, trying to reach out for a solution with proposals of exchanges and additional time needed to track down information about West's fulfillment of contractual duties. So in this battle, the dispute has become a consequential one where EMI argues that West can't evade the New York Forum clause of his contract, while West argues EMI can't do an end run around California law and public policy frowning on contractual servitude. If the two sides can't figure out a settlement, the dispute figures to be touchstone, not just for Kanye West, but for other artists, publishers, and studios as well. That's why it's very important to follow this case, and we'll keep an eye on this case, and we'll get the latest information as this unfolds. Thank you for tuning into our podcast. This will be all for today. Our podcast, you spell it MODULLOMUNI and then the number 2. Once again, feel free to visit our webpage for more information, mmpglobalmusic.com. We offer independent label services. Our podcast is available at your favorite platform. We are available on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Stitcher for the Android, TuneIn Radio, Pocket Cast, Audio Mac, Castbox, Radio Public, Overcast, YouTube, Spotify, and many more. Thank you for tuning in.